How to overcome hoarseness. Well, first of all, you have to determine where the hoarseness came from to begin with. Now, let's assume for a minute that you were at a sporting event the night before and you screamed your brains out. But you've been doing Ken Tamplin Vocal Academy with regularity. Now, the smart thing to have done, I know this sounds crazy, but the smart thing to have done would have been to have done your vocal warm-up, and then I don't care if you go scream your brains out. I mean, try not to hurt yourself, try not to pop a blood vessel in your vocal cord, but you could go out and scream, and I'm not suggesting you do that or recommending you do that, but you can, and you could come back the very next day and do your warm-ups and put resiliency and elasticity and moisture back in the chords and get you, boom, right back. Because let's face it, if you're a touring rock singer or touring singer, period, you're going to face that night after night where you're going to give it all and, leave it all on the field, so to speak, for that night, and then you have the next night and the next night. Well, if you come back and do your warm-ups, it puts elasticity back in the chord. But let's go back to the sporting event. So if you did the sporting event and you didn't do your warm-ups, the tendency is to, I'm totally hoarse the next day, I'm going to wait a week or 2 weeks until I get my voice back. Well, you can do that, but if you've been training up to that point and your voice has been strong up to that point, it's like an athlete. An athlete doesn't take 3 weeks off after he's, really pushed himself one day before. He might take a day off or something like that. In fact, in the case of our voice, I'm not even suggesting you do that. Believe it or not, after you've kind of, let's say you sung hard the night before, I want you the very next day, don't do singing, come back and do your strength training exercises, clear with no distortion, with all your diaphragmatic support and everything we've discussed, and boom, your voice will come back like that. Instead of, or even something else, singing through colds and flu. And I talk about this a little bit in the wellness part of my course, is if you get sick or you come down with a cold or flu, don't wait 2 or 3 weeks to let your voice set. It takes forever to get your voice back. That's ridiculous. We don't sit there and lay in bed for 3 weeks until we walk again. No, we get up and we actually move around as much as we feel like we're capable of doing. Come back, continue. We sing through colds and flu. We sing after we become hoarse. But remember the whole section on glottal compression, how we cut back the air. We don't throw a glut of air across the chords. We're trying to stretch the chords back, put moisture and resiliency and again, elasticity, all these things in the chord. So we want to come back and put that back in the chord to get it back. And you will see, wha-bam, your voice comes back immediately. If you don't do that, and let's say you only wait a day. Let's say the next day I'm too tired, I was out late and did something stupid, whatever that means, and I don't feel like doing it the next day. Then plan on 2 or 3 days of recovering. Maybe not 2 weeks like most, but 2 or 3 days of recovering to get your voice back in game shape. If you do it the next day, even if you don't feel like it, do it anyway. You could take the following day off. I wouldn't even mind you doing it. Take the following day off to relax or whatever. Don't take the next day off. Get those chords back in shape. Do your stretching exercises. Don't let the chords start to atrophy and start to get thick and lose moisture in the chord because they become like leather, so to speak. Put it back in and you're good to go. All right? Let's continue.